What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pure Evil MMA. I'm your host, like always, Evil Eddie, and we just got finished watching UFC 211, and we're going to be rating it 5 out of 5 stars. We want to know what you guys think about tonight's pay-per-view event. I seriously thought it deserved maybe 4.5 out of 5 stars, but it's definitely on the verge. An amazing card worth every penny, especially for the prelims, and we're going to talk about all of that, including the prelims. But let's start with our main event. Guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA and also at Evil_Echo. It's right down there on the bottom. Also on Instagram and Facebook. Alright, so let's jump right into things. We get the live chat room going over on this side, that side. I don't know. Alright, so the main event, we're going to jump right into it. Stipe versus JDS. This was the second time this fight was going down, and the very first time these two fought, JDS ended up getting the better of Stipe Miocic. Well, now we've seen the evolution of Stipe. In his last couple of fights, he's just been on a roll, tearing through every one of his opponents. The last guy he lost to was JDS, who put on an amazing performance in his last fight as well against Ben Rothwell. Got the rats running around in here. So going into this fight, I didn't really expect a first-round knockout, but that's what happened. JDS was going in there kind of working his boxing, but not as much as he did against Ben Rothwell. He wasn't able to get loose as quick as he really should have there. But he was landing some very nice kicks on Stipe to his shin, which might have even cracked Stipe's shin because he was limping on that leg for a little bit there. And then he was pressuring JDS up against the cage and finding success as JDS tried to scoop out. Stipe was just clipping him every time. Even stunned him a couple of times before he was knocked out. But once he landed this, I forgot whether it was a right hook or a right jab, he landed a really nice spot on JDS, and it just dropped. And the question is all of these fights that JDS has been in, the fights against Cain Velasquez, even the fight against Stipe, have these piled onto him? Does he not have a chance of standing as much as he used to in the past? Well, after seeing what happened tonight, you can't really make an assumption off of that. But I can tell you one thing. Stipe is on top of his game. And the question is if he is right about calling himself the greatest in the division right now. Or is it Cain Velasquez, who we really want to see fight for the title once again? That's what I want to see, at least. Let us know what you guys think on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA. Taking it back to the land. By the way, MGK releasing his new album, Bloom, last night. Amazing album. JDS, of course, Stipe walks out to MGK Till I Die. In the fight before that, we had our co-main event, Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Jessica Andrade. Now, going into this, a lot of people thought, I don't know why they thought this, but they thought that Joanna was going to lose her belt tonight. Joanna 2 years ago won the belt in Dallas, and she was going to be defending it once again here. I think it was the 5th time she was going to be defending her title. And you know what? Andrade has looked amazing ever since dropping to this weight class. Not really having a hard time cutting the weight, I guess. But Joanna Jędrzejczyk is just on another level with her Muay Thai. And the kicks, the strikes, and the way that she was able to exit the pocket and avoid Jessica Andrade. Andrade was putting on a lot of pressure every single round, but round after round after round after round, you had to give it to Joanna. In the very first round, that's where Jessica had the most success. He even clipped Joanna at one point, and she had a nice little stub right there on her head that really just started blowing up throughout the fight. But Andrade, as much pressure as she's putting on, what champions do is they can adjust during fights. We see that with some of the best champions that are out there, like Jorina Barsh, who does the exact same thing. Kind of adjusts to her opponent and then wins round after round if she has a hard time in the first. So what we saw tonight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Who is left in that division for this girl to fight? I mean, you guys can make suggestions, but Joanna is going to be pushing for a new division. And there are rumors. Well, they're not even rumors anymore. They're opening up a new weight division for the females, and Joanna definitely wants for a crack at that, and she definitely deserves it. One of the front runners in that division. The only girl who ever gave her a run for her money, really, is Claudia Gadelha, and she fought her twice already and beat her. So you can't go for a third time. Not this soon. Definitely not this soon. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with Joanna. What do you guys think is next? Let us know at Pure Evil MMA. Damian Maia going in there against Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal was able to get rid of the submission attempts in the first round. And I thought he was doing a great job in the second and third. But Damian Maia, man, he was just able to just grasp on and really try to tire you out. But every time that Masvidal was able to escape, he was putting on damage on Damian Maia. But Damian Maia was able to push through round after round, all 3 rounds, taking this fight and winning by a decision. Very close fight. But Maia definitely deserves the next shot at the title. He shouldn't even have had to take this fight, but to stay active. The UFC told him, listen, you got to keep it up. You got to stay active. You got to keep your storyline going. He should have been fighting before Wonderboy was fighting, but since the fans were craving to see that fight, Woodley versus Wonderboy, which ended up being a fan basher, no one ever wants to see that fight ever again, ever. Don't run it back. Please, never again. Damian Maia was kind of robbed from that one, and we were all questioning, why is he taking this fight against Jorge Masvidal? And Masvidal looked great in his last fight against Cowboy Cerrone. Don't forget that. He looked absolutely amazing. So Damian Maia moving forward, he is going to be next to fight Woodley. But then again, there are rumors that Woodley's going to be announcing his next opponent. And I really don't know what are the chances of them naming Maia. Woodley wants a title fight. And there are rumors that it might be Nick Diaz. Is it Conor McGregor? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be Conor McGregor. I really don't want to see that fight. But who knows? Who freaking knows? And then we had Yair Rodriguez, who was a fan favorite tonight, especially down in Texas, in Dallas tonight, going to be against the former champion Frankie Edgar, who has been absolutely on a tear lately, except for his last loss against Jose Aldo. But before that, beating Chad Mendes by knockout in the very first round. And in his last fight, he just beat Jeremy Stephens as well. Question is, if he was able to get past Yair tonight, then what? Are you going to really run it back to have a Jose Aldo fight again? Well, you kind of got to wait for Jose Aldo to fight Max Holloway. So hopefully, Max Holloway, if you are Frankie Edgar, you're hoping that Max Holloway ends up beating Jose Aldo. But I'll tell you this, Yair Regas standing no chance. In that very first round, Frankie was able to land a couple of takedowns on him and just get on top of him and just pound him, smother him. And was just landing dominant fucking elbows left and right. And Yair had a huge gash, I believe it was on his left eye. Frankie just kept working it round after round. And going into the third round, had to call the fight. Yair's eye was blown up. He took a lot of abuse in the first and second round, showing that Frankie Edgar is just elite. And pretty much they threw him to the wolves too soon. You're really giving him a lot of credit for beating BJ Penn. Yeah, he beat Touchy Feely by that flying knee. He was doing great. He had a great little climb there. I didn't really agree with the BJ Penn fight, but they really used that to push him. If he beat BJ Penn, they're going to push him for somebody like a Frankie Edgar. And it was a bad idea to do that. Horrible idea to do that. What do you guys think is going to happen with Yair Rodriguez next? This is unfortunate, but he's a young kid. He has a huge future ahead of him. Thomas Almeida was also undefeated at one point until Cody Nola beat him. These two guys, keep your eyes on both of them. Even though you're losing, you're still learning while you lose. Look at Jessica Andrade tonight. Girl's only 25 years old. As a matter of fact, I forgot to say this. She actually asked her girlfriend to marry her after the fight tonight. And she said, yeah, she gave her a thumbs up. So congratulations to Jessica Andrade. Then we had David Branch making his UFC debut. No one was really excited about him making his UFC debut, and this is why. These are the kind of fights that David Branch always puts on. When he was walking out tonight, he looked mean. He looked like he had the eye of the tiger, but it wasn't there. He went in there, and no bash on him, really, because Jotko is a tough guy. He's only lost one fight before his loss tonight against David Branch, but it just wasn't an exciting fight for the fans out there. I mean, we were really spoiled with the prelims. The fight that we had before this, it was just a lot of finishes, a lot of excitement, and the David Branch fight, it was just kind of slow. It wasn't a bad fight, it was just a little slow. David Branch winning that fight by decision, beating Jotko. Very close fight, though. Very, very close fight. And then we had Eddie Alvarez versus Dustin the Diamond. This was the prelim headliner, not on FS1, but is actually airing on FX tonight, which was a little weird for a change. They're airing it on FX. But Dustin the Diamond was hit with a couple of illegal fucking knees that finished the fight, making it a no contest. I don't agree with it. I think Eddie Alvarez should have been disqualified. There was 2 illegal knees. Herb Dean was a little late calling it. I was totally against it. It was turned into a brawl. Dustin the Diamond was doing a great job, and there was a point in the fight where Eddie Alvarez was clipped, and Dustin almost finished him. But when you bring out the dog side in Eddie Alvarez, we've seen him in wars like this before in the past, over in Bellator, like against Michael Chandler. We even saw it in his last couple of fights. You bring the dog out. Well, not the Conor McGregor fight. But you bring the dog out in Eddie, and it bites. And what did we see tonight? We saw Eddie Alvarez making a huge comeback, but unfortunately, a very controversial way to end the fight, using those illegal knees. And Dustin the Diamond, even when the crowd was booing Eddie for doing what he did, Dustin Diamond said, "Do not boo this man. This is a great man. Do not boo this fucking man." Like a straight up G. I love Dustin the Diamond. I hope they run this back. Will they? I don't know. I do believe they would, and I do believe they should. What do you guys think? Let us know at Pure Evil MMA. Did this kind of leave a salty taste in your mouth? Eddie Alvarez really needed the win, and he was making a comeback there. He probably could have finished Dustin the Diamond if that fight kept going. Unfortunately, it ended the way it did. Run that baby back. That's what you got to do there. And then Jason Knight beating Chaz Skelly. Chaz Skelly just coming off a win over Ultimate Fighter Season 22, Brandon Gritz. An amazing submission win, I believe. He actually came on the show to talk with me about that fight, and he wanted this fight against Jason Knight. Well, he got it tonight, and Knight looked amazing on the feet, just cutting Skelly up, gets the TKO in the third round, moving, advancing, and he's almost feels like it is a punch and a slap to the face that the UFC is not matching him up with ranked opponents. Well, after beating Chaz Skelly, I think this man deserves this. Give this man a top 15 opponent. They want it. The fans want it. Come on. He was a fan favorite to win this fight tonight. I wanted Skelly to win, though. I was rooting for Skelly. Some people might say, well, is it because he was on your show? No, I really thought that Skelly was going to be able to get the submission win in this fight, probably in the second or third round. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. I did not like how Skelly was trying to fight on the feet. That is not his strong point. His strong point is wrestling. He was trying to go for the takedowns. He was getting him stuffed, though. He was trying really hard to take down Jason Knight. Jason Knight really put on a great performance, really showcasing his skill tonight by beating Skelly in the third round by TKO. Give this man a ranked opponent. Before that, we had somebody calling out for the 50K bonus. Is he going to get it tonight? I don't think so, but it was an exciting fight, an all-out war between Sherman, who beat Couture by TKO in the very first round. It was absolutely brutal. The legs were buckling on Couture, but he was firing back with these huge haymakers that were landing on Sherman, almost dropping him a couple of times. But Couture, it was his UFC debut. He really wanted to put on performance. He was just going there and really headhunting. I don't think this was smart. Sherman did a great job switching up with the combos, landing a lot of leg kicks, obviously breaking his opponent down immediately, taking out his legs, so he wasn't able to really plant and land these haymakers, but he was finding a lot of success. This was a very exciting fight. Not performance of the night, not fight of the night, but definitely runner-up, honorable mention. Definitely run that back if you did not see that. Definitely rewind this fight and go check that out. Then we had James Vick defeating Regas via TKO in the very first round. Somebody that broke his finger in the first fight. Very graphic fight that was. His bone was literally popping out in that fight that he had. I can't remember who it was against. But James Vick getting the win. Moving forward, what is next for this guy? It is getting late here on the East Coast, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Big shout out to them for Evil Eddie here at Pure Evil MMA. Then we had Courtney Casey making a huge run, beating Jessica Aguilar by decision. Exactly what I thought was going to go down in this fight. Casey did a great job with her combos as well, moving around outside the pocket, tying up Aguilar, and really working from the bottom. She was doing a lot of damage off of her back with the up kicks. Really athletic performance by Court Casey. And Aguilar, man, she made her debut, and it was a tough fight for her. But, you know, going to this fight with Casey, it was her second fight. She didn't do bad at all. Even though she lost, she did not do bad. Courtney Casey is a beast, and congratulations to her. Then we had Barzola beating Benitez by decision. All in all, guys, let's rate tonight's card. Out of 5 stars, I'm giving it a 4.5. I do believe it deserves every penny on that pay-per-view card. We did have the Cejudo versus Pettis fight fell out. Could you only imagine if that fight wasn't taken off this card? I'm giving this 4 out of 5. What do you guys rate it? Let us know at Pure Evil MMA on Twitter, Instagram, and also Facebook. I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, frontproofmedia.com, and MMA UK. I'm out, guys. Behave yourselves.